Welcome to Negotiation with Alice, your negotiation podcast. Everything that you do where you need to get on the same page with someone else is a negotiation. So whether you have to negotiate a contract with someone, or you simply need your boss to sign off on that program that you'd like to implement, or you want to figure out how to rebalance the chore structure in your home, or talk about what vacation you want to go on. All of these things are negotiations. So in my podcast, we go over both personal and professional conversations, which all are considered negotiation, and I will give you tips on how to come out ahead. Welcome to the show. Welcome, listeners, to another episode of Negotiation with Alice. Today, I've got Saili Gosula here with us. Hi, Saili. How are you?
Hi, Alice. So thank you for having us. For me.
Sure. I would love for you to introduce yourself to my guests. Let them know, what kind of work do you do? Who do you work with?
All right. So I own a company that does in-home physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. We don't take insurance. And this is my second company. The previous company that I had was an in-home caregiving company.
Okay, awesome. I mean, it's very important work that you're doing because I know people who need that. So thank you
Yeah.
for doing that work. Yeah. So what is your question regarding negotiation today? What can we discuss?
I thought you were asking the question.
No, what was your question for me?
The question for you, and it is the question we talked about earlier. Okay. So how do you convince people that they need to exercise?
Okay, great. So basically, you're trying to negotiate with people to do something in their best interest, right?
Yes.
Okay. So before we dive into how to do that, let's dive into some of the reasons why they may not be. Because we have to understand before we convince anybody to do something, we have to understand their perspective, where they're coming from. So, from your perspective, what are some of the obstacles that people are facing that are blocking them from exercising more regularly?
They're intimidated. They think that they're so behind and so out of shape that they are going to be embarrassed at what level they are right now.
Okay, that's good. That's one. Anything else?
It's hard. It's work. You have to actually put in the time. You have to sweat. And sometimes it's hardly ever that you make progress without a little bit of pain, discomfort more.
Right, right. Anything else that might be a blocker for them in terms of
Mine,
exercising regular
time.
time? Okay. And is it just what kind of exercise? Is it exercise like in-home exercise? Are you wanting them to go take a class?
I want them
Or
to do anything they can do consistently.
okay. So I would say the first thing to try to get people to exercise more regular instead of just saying, "Hey, come on, you got to do more," right? And to try to repeat it to get them to listen is really to ask more questions as to just like I asked you, what are the blockers? To ask the people like what's blocking you? Like
Hmm.
what because everybody's different, right? Some people say it's time. Some people say, "Well, I don't think I can do it that much." Or some people might say, "I don't think I can exercise for 30 minutes. It seems too long or too difficult." And so to really be able to understand what's blocking them because they themselves might not have thought through what is blocking them. All they
True.
know is they're going through their day and all of a sudden it didn't happen,
And they think
right?
about it and they're like, oh, no, 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 no.
Right. And so in some respects, you need to ask the question so that they can think deeply about what's blocking them,
Yeah.
right? And then you can problem solve together based on the thing that's blocking them because each person is different. Some people might need like an accountability partner. Some
Hmm.
people might need to block out time on their physical calendar to say, this is the time that I'm going to work out. Some people might need to adjust to say, I'm working out only 10 minutes a day to begin with because 30 sounds too intimidating,
Hmm.
right? And so I
Yeah.
think anytime you want to negotiate with someone, and a lot of times we talk about on this show, negotiating with yourself as well because everyone negotiates with themselves every day, right? Do I work out today or do I rest? Right? Those kind of things. And so I think it's important when you're trying to negotiate with your clients for their health that they should exercise more to really deeply understand what's blocking them and sit down with them and have like a 20-minute conversation asking a lot of questions so that once you understand what's the block, then you can move forward and try to resolve that.
Right.
Right? So I don't know, like currently what happens? Are you able to convince most people or
So this isn't just for clients. This is just for people out in the world. I'm a heavy exerciser. I do a lot of different things. I wake up creaky like everybody my age does, like, oh my God, I can't do it. But I know that if I don't do it, I'm going to stay creaky. So it does help me, loosen and be able to do more. So I am always trying to convince people. I will offer them to go to the gym with them to show them
really?
things. I'm not a personal trainer because I don't have the time to do that, but I know enough, that I could. And there's so many excuses that I get, but almost everybody says I want to, I should, but still it doesn't quite happen. It's yeah, all the things that I mentioned earlier. It takes too much time. I haven't done it for so long. I don't know that I can. But the truth is, if you don't, then it's just going to get harder and harder.
The other question too that I would ask is on a scale of 1 to 10, how strong is your desire to work out more, right? Because they might tell you, "Yeah, I know, I really want to work out more," but if they answer a 1, with 1 being very little and their desires at 1, then obviously now you understand, yeah, they want to, but only a little bit, right?
That's going to be hard to get them to do it if their motivation is a one.
Right? But I mean, still, it means it's more than 0, right? They
Right?
know that they want to do it, but if the motivation's really low or
Yeah.
their desire is very
Yeah.
low, then
Yeah.
they're not prioritizing it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I find for myself when it comes to exercise, if I join a group to do a sport, whether it's a exercise boot camp, right now I'm rowing, you have the
Mhm.
camaraderie of the team.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to actually think about, do I want to get up today? Should I go work out today? Because guess what? It's timed, it's set time. You got to go. And if you don't go, your teammates or your coach is going to be like, where the
Right.
heck were you? Like, and so I have to have a very good reason to not show up because otherwise they have to reboat everybody. All the people in the boat gets all mixed up if I don't show
Yeah.
up. Right. So I think, yeah. So really, when you're talking to people and you're trying to convince someone they have to work out more, think about what's the scale because you don't want to waste a lot of your time
Right.
trying to help them figure out how to work out if their number is below a 5,
And if their number is below a five, they're unlikely to actually stick with it.
right?
Yeah.
So I think, yeah. And then I think also, other things are really great to do is, a lot, Saili, about, the benefits of working out. And so even
Yeah.
like data to say if you don't work
Yeah.
out, this is what happens. I know if you want to talk a little bit about it, but I know that women, particularly over 50, if you're not doing weightlifting, your bones are
Yep.
going to get really brittle, right?
Yep. Yep.
And
Yeah.
so that's another good reason for people over 50 to work out and do
Absolutely.
weightlifting, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know that everyone realizes that. Some people might think it's sufficient to just take calcium pills,
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Probably. Probably.
right? But yeah. So
It
tell
can.
us what's your favorite kind of like exercise? What kind of exercises are you doing?
So I consider myself a hybrid athlete. I run a certain number of days a week. I lift weights. I do competitions. So usually I am exercising with my eye to what is the next competition and what kinds of exercises I need to do for those. But that is, and then when I do the competition, I'll realize what is it that I wasn't really good at. So then there's the next thing that I need to work on. So it is a lot of different things. I have always liked being active, liked exercising, like doing more than the average person does. It's just who I am. My motivation is like 10. Like it is, but it is, I don't feel it's a chore. It's something I get to do. And when I owned the two companies, I really didn't have time. And before I owned the two companies, I also had two kids. So I had like four kids, if you count the companies and the kids. And that was really hard. Then my one kid's older had left. The other kid went to college. And then I sold one of the companies. So all of a sudden, I only have one kid. Then I was able to double the amount of exercise I do and start competing and actually doing. So to me, it was like a gift that all of a sudden now I can exercise more than before. But definitely, and what people don't realize is how quickly you see progress.
Right. Right.
You can see progress very quickly in some cardio activity, whether it's running or something else. You can see muscles on your body that you never knew were there within 2 weeks of actually strength training. So you can get other things to motivate you once you start. So that's something that I think people don't really understand. It is quick where you can see progress.
Yeah, I think for that reason, I always say it's great to keep data, right?
Yeah,
Because if you
yeah,
don't keep data, it's hard to tell you're getting better.
yeah.
And it's funny because I used to run a lot because I did triathlons, and every single run I took, I timed it. Didn't matter if it was the same time for like half a year. I always timed it because I wanted to make sure that if I ever beat my own personal time, that I was timing it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And you're working towards some kind of a goal, even if it's shaving off 2 seconds, right? That's a
yeah,
goal. I like that. And the other thing that I like that you mentioned is that you sign up for competitions. It's such a great way to motivate you. If someone is like listening to this and they're like, I'm not that motivated, if you sign up for a competition, let that competition be the motivator. I think that is a fantastic way to do it.
thank you. Yeah, and these days, what you were talking about, keeping track of progress and when was your best time, there are apps for that now. You don't have to keep a spreadsheet yourself. There's apps that are going to congratulate you when you did your fastest this or that or whatever, and they keep track of every single one of your metrics. And they're able to congratulate you so many times on so many things on this little tiny little segment that I ran faster than all the other times I ran before. So I don't have to keep track of it. As long as I'm signed up with something that does that, they can do it for you.
Exactly, exactly. And it keeps track of some of the running apps. It'll keep track of your all the paths that you run.
Yeah,
So all of
yeah.
that. Here's a really nice thing. So there's I can't now have to remember what it's called, but there is a website that is strictly for motivational purposes, and they give you a medal. So you pick whichever one you want to go, like they tell you all these different places, and each one has like a certain amount of miles attached to it. Like let's say it's 50 miles, 30 miles, 20 miles. You pick the one you want, and as you walk, you're logging it. But as you walk, it's showing you the virtual trail that you're actually doing. Like, let's say you want to go Mount Fuji. So if you hike
Interesting.
3 miles at your own home in where I'm in Oakland, it
Huh.
will show me, okay, this is how far you would have gone on Mount Fuji in Japan. And so when I do the whole, however long it takes to do that, and they'll say, you've now walked the equivalent of going to top of Mount Fuji, then they'll deliver a medal for you. So you can collect all these medals and do these sort of like fun. So there's like a lot of gamifying.
There's a lot of virtual runs out there, virtual like walks, and they'll send you medals to your home. They actually will even do that if that's what you want to do. I want to do them in person, but for sure, even if you don't. And you mentioned walking. Walking is the best form of exercise. And most people can do that. Whatever it is that they want to do, wherever they want to do it, they can walk. When people say, "Well, I can't run," you run. I can't run. I'm like, you don't have to run. Walking is more important than running.
Can you talk a little bit about that? About why walking is the best one? Like, what are the benefits and why do they outweigh other forms of exercise?
Well, one, most people can do it. It's not hard on your joints, and you are increasing your heart rate, but increasing it not too much. Like you're not at that point, like when you're running, you're out of breath, you're burning the wrong things. When you actually are trying to lose weight, walking is more effective than running because it isn't that, aerobic, anaerobic, difference.
Yep, yep, yeah. And then it doesn't hurt your joints and all that, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I try to on the days I don't run. So I usually run 3 days a week, unless there's a competition. Then everything goes out the window. In the days I don't run, I do have a certain number of steps I want to hit, no matter what. And I walk outside, and I have a walking pad right under me in case I don't get to get outside, that I can still walk while I'm working on the computer.
Well, that's awesome. And what's usually like the number of steps that you aim for every day?
So I used to do 10 because that was what we heard that was supposed to happen. But because I was running so much on the days I ran, I far exceeded the 10,000. And I felt that the days I didn't run, I shouldn't try that hard to get to a 10,000 and stress myself out because I made up for those steps the other day. So I actually reduced my daily steps to 8,000, knowing on the week I'm going to exceed 70,000.
That's great.
So
I
I
mean,
did
that's a
decrease the daily steps for my own sanity because I was walking around my house like this trying to get to 10,000 and it didn't make any sense because I was very active and I didn't
right.
have to do that.
I have hip issues, and I found this really wonderful thing where they have the bungee fitness where they tie you up to a bungee and you're jumping around. And it
Oh,
was actually like really great cardio wise without having the stress on your joints.
yeah.
Like you can jump and jump and jump, but because you're not landing with your
Yeah.
full body weight, it was a really great experience to be able to just jump around and kind of feel like you're maybe only 30% of your actual weight landing on the ground. You still got a really good workout.
You can do that in the pool too. In a pool where you can just if pretend like you're running in the pool. It's kind of hard because there's resistance, but you're not putting as much weight on your body while you're doing that.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of great things. Swimming is great too. Yeah, for sure, because it doesn't put any stress on your joints. So that's really great. Well, thank you so much, Sadie, for being here. If somebody wants to work with you, how can they reach you?
They can go to our website, activeinhometherapy.com. There's a place there you can click and contact us.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Saili. Thank you, listeners,
Thank
for
you.
listening to another episode, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you so much. Bye.